The echoes of that fateful night in July 2023 still linger in the mind of Errol Spence Jr., a night where he stepped into the ring with the relentless force that is Terence "Bud" Crawford. Spence, a warrior in his own right, had spent years carving his legacy in the sport, a dominant force in the welterweight division. But when the bell rang for that historic clash, one that would determine the first undisputed welterweight champion of the four-belt era, it became clear that Crawford was operating on another level. The arena buzzed with anticipation, a collision of two undefeated champions, each carrying the weight of their own expectations. Spence, known as the Truth, was determined to impose his will, to stand his ground against a man who had built his career dismantling every opponent that dared challenge him. But from the opening bell, Crawford's movements were different, calculated, measured, predatory. As the rounds unfolded, it wasn't just Spence who realized the depth of Crawford's skill. The audience, analysts, and even the most ardent Spence supporters were forced to recognize the sheer brilliance unfolding before them. Crawford was not merely winning rounds, he was systematically breaking Spence down. Every jab, every counterpunch, every explosive exchange tilted the fight further in his favor, until, in the ninth round, the inevitable conclusion arrived. Spence, a warrior to the end, had fought valiantly, but Crawford's precision, power, and merciless efficiency left no room for debate. The stoppage was not just a victory, it was a statement. Terence Crawford was now the undisputed king at 147 pounds, and the boxing world had just witnessed history. Now, with the dust settled and the wounds healed, Spence finds himself watching from the sidelines as his former conqueror prepares to ascend to even greater heights. The challenge ahead? None other than the formidable Canelo Alvarez, a fighter who has cemented his name among the sport's greats, a man who has reigned supreme across multiple weight classes, a champion whose legacy is as rich as his accolades. But Spence, having felt the devastating artistry of Crawford firsthand, does not hesitate in his assessment. When asked about the looming super fight, he offers 5 simple yet chilling words: "If anyone can, Crawford can." It is a warning, a proclamation, and perhaps even a glimpse into the future. Spence knows what awaits Canelo if he underestimates the tenacity of Crawford. He knows because he lived it. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Spence voices his support for his fellow countrymen, making it clear that he believes Crawford has the ability to achieve the impossible. There is no blind loyalty in his words, no empty bravado. His belief is rooted in experience, in the punishment he endured at the hands of Crawford. The skepticism surrounding Crawford's ability to challenge Canelo at 168 pounds is understandable after all. The size disparity is undeniable. But Spence refuses to entertain the notion that it's an insurmountable task. Crawford, he points out, is chasing greatness. The same way Canelo ventured up to 175 to challenge Sergey Kovalev and later tested himself against the elite skills of Dmitry Bivol, Crawford is now on his own path to defy expectations. If Canelo could dare to dream beyond his natural weight class, then why should Crawford be denied the same opportunity? Spence knows that greatness is not measured by the comfort of familiar surroundings, but by the willingness to walk into the unknown and emerge victorious. But the road to this blockbuster showdown is still being paved. Before Crawford can lock eyes with Canelo under the bright lights of Las Vegas, the Mexican superstar has business to handle. Canelo is set to defend his IBF super middleweight title against the skilled and undefeated William Skull on May 3 RD in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The fight marks the first of a 4-fight deal under the grand spectacle of Riyadh season, a new chapter in Canelo's ever-expanding empire. The expectation is clear: get past Skull, and the path to Crawford will be wide open. If Canelo secures victory as expected, all roads lead to a seismic event that could redefine both men's legacies. The whispers have already begun. A potential showdown in September, a night that could see Crawford attempt to capture gold in yet another weight class, a feat that would elevate him to a 5-division world champion. The boxing world waits with bated breath, analysts debate, fans speculate, but Errol Spence has no doubts. He has seen what Crawford is capable of when the world counts him out. He has felt the relentless storm, the methodical destruction, the brilliance that comes when Crawford senses an opportunity to make history. And so, as Canelo marches toward his next challenge, a warning lingers in the air, one delivered not by a promoter or an analyst, but by a man who learned the hard way. Spence's words are not just support for a fellow fighter, they are a cautionary tale. Canelo may be the bigger man, the naturally stronger force, but if there is one truth that cannot be ignored, it is this: if anyone can, Crawford can. The world of boxing has always thrived on uncertainty. Predictions, statistics, and even the weight of experience often crumble under the relentless force of an unexpected outcome. And now, with a potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez looming on the horizon, that uncertainty has reached a fever pitch. Experts are divided. Some claim that Crawford is biting off more than he can chew, that stepping into the super middleweight division against a man as seasoned and dominant as Canelo is a bridge too far. Others, however, whisper in hushed yet eager tones, wondering if the unthinkable could actually happen if Crawford, the relentless tactician, could find a way to defy expectations yet again. Canelo Alvarez has built his career on overcoming obstacles. He has fought bigger men, stronger men, and those thought to be too skilled for him. His power has translated across divisions, his ability to adapt making him a nightmare for any opponent. But for all of his dominance, there are cracks in the foundation, small, almost imperceptible weaknesses that only a fighter with an unrelenting eye and razor-sharp instincts could exploit. And that is where Terence Crawford thrives. He is not just another fighter looking for a paycheck or a fleeting shot at glory. No, Crawford is a hunter, a chess player inside the ring, a man who sees not just punches but opportunities, angles, and traps waiting to be set. He has an eerie way of making even the most seasoned opponents doubt themselves. Errol Spence, in the aftermath of his loss to Crawford, understands that better than anyone. He knows what it feels like to enter a fight confident in his abilities, only to realize, round after brutal round, that the man standing across from him is seeing the fight unfold in ways no one else can. It is a humbling experience, one that Spence has now turned into a warning for Canelo. The weight difference is real. The challenge ahead for Crawford is immense. But there is something about him, something almost unnatural in the way he approaches a fight that makes Spence believe. And so, as Canelo prepares for his upcoming bout with William Skull, the world waits. The fight against Skull is expected to be a stepping stone, a necessary checkpoint before the real storm arrives. But if boxing has taught us anything, it is that expectations can be shattered in an instant. Canelo must first prove that he is still the dominant force at 168 pounds, that his power and precision remain untouched. If he does, then the road to September will be clear, and the debate will truly begin. How will Canelo deal with Crawford's movement, his ability to shift gears mid-fight, his sheer refusal to be figured out? How will Crawford handle the power of a man who has sent so many to the canvas with a single devastating shot? The questions are endless, the speculation running rampant. But in the center of it all, in the silence before the inevitable clash, there is one truth that cannot be ignored, a truth spoken not by trainers or analysts, but by a man who has been in the fire and come out scarred. Errol Spence's 5-word warning lingers in the minds of those who truly understand the nature of this sport. Because if history has proven anything, it is that Terence Crawford does not just fight to win, he fights to dismantle, to shock, to leave no doubt in the minds of those who ever questioned him. And now, the world waits to see if he will do it again.